Hello. It's been a while since I've uploaded, but it's fine. Cause this is some quality content that you're about to get. So this one actually requires some like planning and scripting and stuff like that. So yeah, the other ones it'll probably take me like a few hours. This one took me pretty much a solid week of just planning. So this is pretty much 8 tips that you should use to increase your writing style or to benefit your writing style. So yeah, let's just start. So this one's a bit overused. It's to increase your vocabulary, because synonyms really aren't synonyms. Each word has a denotation. Sorry, each word has a denotation and a connotation. Both are very different. So a denotation is pretty much a dictionary definition. For example, like sad means like you're sad, and then heartbroken also means that you're sad. They're both the same thing, but a connotation is different. The connotation of sad and heartbroken is so different. So for example, I was sad when my dog died versus when my dog died, I was heartbroken. Just the reading of that can already show you that it's different. Sad is just like meh, it's in the middle, doesn't have much connotation. Whereas heartbroken means like, oh, my heart is broken, I'm so sad. Like, I'm very sad. So yeah, another one here, another example. It's right here. The woman was incredibly pretty. There's no need to say incredibly pretty. You can just say she's gorgeous. Let's do a different one. The next step is okay. Let me just yeet that out of there. Yeah, stay down there. Second step is this is not working. Don't waste time. What do you mean by that? Well, some people just think, hey, the more complex I write, the better the writing is. It's not. For example, I was chronically injured through my hip and was medically forced to sit in a chair to never traverse with my legs again. That's so wordy, and it's just so unnecessary. You don't need to say it like that. And another thing, let's just simplify that. Because my hip hurt, or because I injured my hip, my doctor told me to sit in a wheelchair. It's like 23 words, which is the first sentence, and then 13 words, the second sentence. But they both tell you the same thing, and the second sentence is a bit less wordy. It's much harder to understand for the first sentence, whereas for the second sentence, it's just short and to the point. So that's what I mean by don't waste time. So you might be like, well, how do I get better at this? It's peer editing. Try doing some peer editing. What do you mean by try doing some peer editing? Well, when you're writing your essay, you know what you're thinking, but the reader does not. And it's really hard, even for experienced writers, to understand that and sort of get rid of that sort of bad behavior. So in order to practice that, you should try doing some peer editing. Because for your friend probably feels the same thing. I know exactly what I'm going to say, but my reader doesn't know. So if you do some peer editing, you'll probably see some common mistakes, and then you'll be like, oh, I should not do that. So peer editing, sure, you might think like, oh, it's just helping them. No, it helps you as well. And even if it didn't help you, you should still do it out of kindness. So let's yeet that to the side. Next. Number 3. Many people don't like this, but it's say what you think. Because so many writers are like, oh, I shouldn't say this because it's so offensive. And they try to hold back. How is that going to do you any good? If you hold back, your heart won't be able to say what they want to say. If you hold back, you won't just hold back the offensive parts, you'll hold back a ton of the emphasis as well. So, sort of, say what you think. It doesn't matter if it's offensive. Why? Because you can always edit out the offensive parts, Or, if it's a bit wordy or something like that, just edit it out. Always, always, always edit. And this sort of bridges into the next section. Paper, get the heck out of here. It's use multiple drafts. I have so many people near me who are like, oh, this was my first draft, and I just kept editing. Oh, shut up. Never write an essay in one draft. Never. Why? Well, because your first draft should be absolute bullcrap. Okay? Because nothing's going to come out with your first try. You should do like a second try, a third try, and on and on and on. Let's see what my script says. Yeah, your first draft should be catastrophic. That is completely true. But just try to use multiple drafts to get better. For example, use your second draft to edit those bad parts out, like we said previously, edit the offensive parts out. Yeah, use that for your second draft. Your third draft, try to edit the syntax, Like, there's no point, like, for the second section, don't waste time, we said, I was chronically injured through my hip and was medically forced to sit in a chair to never traverse with my legs again. That's kind of wordy. So with your third draft, you should change that up, make it a bit clearer. So that's what you should do with your third draft. And then you should probably get the fourth draft and do some peer editing. And then after that, you should just keep adding more and more drafts until your essay is much better than your first draft. Notice how I'm not saying perfect, because an essay can never be perfect. Even J.K. Rowling's. Next. Wait, let me get this thing out of here. Mature your writing style. And you might be like, what does this mean? Well, so many people are like, I just want to get better, but I can't. Yeah, it's because you're not mature enough. So many people try to use cliched things. Like, for example, in my opinion, that's so cliched. In my opinion, you should subscribe, versus, as I see it, you should subscribe to benefit the channel. Just the feeling of that is so much different because, you know, it's better. In my opinion, it's commonly used. It's the first thing you learn in, like, 4th grade. So if you just keep using that, people will think, wow, this guy just freshly learned writing. Whereas if you use something else, like, as I see it, or I often find, then, you know, it'll be a lot better. So there's another one, like, in my opinion, in my experience, which is, once again, very cliched, versus I often find that. Like, for example, in my opinion, I find that I hate all my teachers. In my experience, I hate most of my team. In my experience, most of my teachers are bad. Versus, I often find that most of my teachers are bad. Already so much more mature. Let's get this out of here. Next. This is once again something that you and I have trouble with. It's called write an outline. Well, we'll get this thing out of here. It's called write an outline. So if you don't have an outline, it's gonna be so much harder to keep a straight writing style. So it's kind of like, you know, mindlessly writing. You don't have a proper structure, so it's literally just a drunk monkey trying to walk in a straight line. You're not gonna succeed. You know, like, if it's like you try to walk in a straight line completely blank. Try drawing a circle completely blank versus try drawing a circle with a computer drawn circle already on there. You just need to trace it, and it's so much easier. And for people who don't really have outlines, they'll tend to digress, which means they get off topic. And it's completely true. Especially, this is a lot of things that teachers also make mistakes on. They just digress. You talk about this, and then you talk about this, and then you talk about this, and it turns into a rant. Absolutely worthless. So just don't. Keep an outline. And yeah. Next is to vary your sentence structure. This is completely true. Sentence structure is called syntax, if you guys didn't know. And I think that, you know, arguably, this is the most important. This is the most important tip. Because, let's look at this. I have a friend, Mary. She has a pet, but she doesn't really like her color, red. Although my sentence is changing, if you glance over this paragraph, you almost could have lost it, lol. Like, it's true. Like, for example, I am sad. My friend is happy. I am nice. My friend is not nice. I am mad at her. You know, like, that's just so boring. Versus, my friend and I are both nice, but I'm mad at her right now because she's not being who she is. Blah, 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 blah. Whatever. So, same thing here. I am happy. I am sad. My friend is happy. She is nice. I am nice. I want to be cool. Just combine that. Say, I am sad, but my friend is happy. She and I are both nice, but I want to try and be cooler. You know, it's a lot better. Now, this last tip is something that really only advanced people should use, and it's called use beneficial repetition. They'd be like, what? My teachers have always told me, never repeat. Completely true. It pisses off your reader if you ever repeat stuff. Why? Well, it's just annoying. It's so annoying. It's kind of like, you know, it's so annoying, and it's just so annoying. It's like that. It's so annoying, I'm not kidding. There's just no point in repeating the same thing again and again if your reader already understands it. But beneficial repetition is different. We tried, but we never succeeded. Repeating we tried emphasizes it, literally. We tried. That emphasizes we really tried, but we never succeeded. It's the same thing. Like here, it doesn't have to be like that. It was the end of the world. Zombies were taking over. It was the end of the world. Everyone was dying. It was the end of the world. The planet cracked in two, exploding from the inside out. It was the end of the world. It's literally emphasizing it was the end of the world. Why? Zombies were taking over. Everyone was dying. The planet cracked in two, and it exploded. You know? A bit childish, but, you know, it sort of emphasizes it was the end of the world. So if you can't use this, oh well, this is really hard to use, so don't feel bad. But we're just hitting the 10-minute mark and we're exactly done. So yeah, this was my script. This huge paper. But this is sort of like an extra tip, so a presentation tip. This is all the stuff I showed you guys. Not even one page. Now, this is how much I did not show you guys. Let me throw it out. Doing stuff with one hand is actually really hard. There we go. This is how much I did not show. So let me take this out. This is the first page, I think. Yep, this is the first page. This is how much I did not show out of my full script. And then for the second page, this is how much I did not show. Let me actually... There we go. So this is the full script. Page 1, page 2. And that's how little I showed. I pretty much did not show about 50% of it. And this is something they should do during presentations as well. It's so boring if you just say it again and again and again, and if you just read off the slides. And what's the point? Like, for example, right here. How to dispense. Number 1, push tab in and lift flap up. Number 2, use Scotch cushion, wrap material through flap opening, and you're ready to go. Step 3, Scotch cushion wrap, material is perforated approximately every 12 inches for easy, convenient tears. That's so boring. You know, if you're going to write it like this, at least explain it if it's a presentation. Now, this is literally just a box, so obviously they need to explain stuff, but like, you can say, push tab in and lift the flap up. There will be a tiny little tab there, and it's made to easily take it out. Next, take it out and just actually, this is actually a really hard example. But in terms of presentations, just explain stuff. Like right here. When I put a little, these are the separate topics, by the way. Just take out the examples and then put in the explanations. So when you're doing presentations, do the topic, then do some examples, but don't write down the explanations for the examples. That way you can explain, and that way the people, aka the audience, listen to you, not your presentation. You need to emphasize that you are more important than your the presentation. If you're just reading off the presentation, there's no point in a presentation. That is an essay. So, tiny little rant there. I digress. I didn't put this in my I didn't write this in my outline. This is how I ended it. I'm not really good at writing, so I brain farted at the end there. At least the video is finished. So yeah, that is true. So if you guys do find this helpful, then pretty sure I wrote it somewhere over here. Yeah, as I see it, you should subscribe to benefit the channel. We'll be continuing uploading stuff, and yeah, hope you enjoyed. Now I'm just gonna constantly say subscribe for the next 10 seconds so that fits the 13-minute mark. Subscribe, 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 blah. Subscribe, 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 subscribe.